Hello and welcome to Joko Tool Review. This is my first tool review video. I've seen about everyone on YouTube and just wanted to start reviewing tools to my liking. There's some I've not seen reviewed yet or not seen talked about in how I'd like to talk about them, so this is my opportunity to do so. First off, we're just going to jump right in. We have these Sunex Extra Deep SAE impact sockets. These have gotten me out of more than one jam. We do anchors in concrete, and sometimes with a wedge anchor, you can have it come up a little too high where you either have to put a wrench on it or a pass-through ratchet or something like that, and that can be a pain because you can't get a socket down on it. So now we have these. This is the 15/16. I have the 3/4, 9/16, and the 1/2 inch. As you can see, these have been used quite extensively. Sunex is made in Taiwan. These are really nice sockets. They have the hole for the pin if you're using that, or the ball if it's on your ratchet. I use these on a Milwaukee 12-volt impact wrench, and it works really well with the hog ring. I've been really liking these so far. Sorry about that, there's a car. And they've worked really well for anything I've put to them. It's nice sometimes not to even need an extension. You don't need the deep socket. You just, regular socket would do, but you don't have to use an extension. This works really well. Next up, this is at Lowe's, the Craftsman 1/4 inch set. I kind of bought this on a whim. It was $20. They had it discounted. This is the metric version. As you can see, it comes with the ratchet extension, some Torx bits, Phillips flathead, and I believe this is 4mm through 14mm. Yep. And these are really nice. It's kind of like one of those little old shit kits. It'll get you out of a bind. This comes out of the case. This is just their plastic bit case, I guess. They just decided to reuse. So this actually comes out. As you can see, these lock in. They're kind of a pain to get out sometimes if you hadn't already pulled them out. The ratchet itself, a little difficult to get out, but feels nice. It's a little dry sounding, but it is user serviceable. These two little Torx right there, you can take this off. Plan on putting a little bit of lube in there just to kind of get it going well. But it is fairly nice. For $20, I couldn't pass it up. Sorry about that. And that's just a nice little kit I'm going to keep in my truck. I do drive a Ford Ranger, so lots of metric, as with most vehicles these days. Next up, this is my little pouch I've put together, but what I'm reviewing is these Snap-on wire stripper and crimpers. Now this is the PWC SS7CF. Two S's indicate that this is 14 through 24 instead of 12 through 20. I really like these. You can get the knockoffs on Amazon, or Carlisle makes a version that's similar to the traffic. Lots of traffic. That's similar to the Snap-on in the 12 through 20. But this one is the only one I've seen that is 14 through 24. Really nice. You can see these jaws right here. Getting in real close with something and having to crimp it. You'll see next up the Klein stripper crimpers that I have. Those are very nice, but they do not crimp how I'd like them to. if you're splicing a lot of wires together, but these will do the trick every time. Now the strippers work really nicely. It's a little different getting used to them behind the pivot instead of in front of the pivot, but you just kind of, you figure it out. These are really nice, really well made, very solid. This Husky 6-in-1, really like it. It's real cheap. They actually had for a short time 2 different prices on the same screwdriver, and they corrected that eventually. This is actually nicer than the Klein 5-in-1, mainly because it's got the extra driver. This is 1/4 inch and 5/16. The other one is just 5/16. It's got the flathead and the Phillips, and the small flathead and Phillips. Can't tell if that's a plastic or acetate, probably plastic handle. It's nice, it works. It's just a good, reliable, cheap driver. Next up, for Home Depot, I have my name written on the bag, so I'm just gonna not show you that. But they had the 2-in-1 2-piece drivers set for Christmas, and that was the 11-in-1 screwdriver and the 4-in-1 mini driver right here with the yellow zipper bag. 11-in-1, everybody probably has one. They're great. No need to go into detail. This one I've been seeing a lot more recently. Something somebody hasn't mentioned yet is they've actually started making these bits shorter. When they first came out, the bits were just a bit longer, and if I took the time, I could go find up one of the ones I bought when they first came out. They are actually quite a bit longer. They still hold in really well, so I'll give them that. It's probably about the best of any little multi-bit electronic screwdriver besides the Husky gray handle one that they've gotten rid of. I really missed that one, but this one actually I prefer. Holds up well. I've seen a lot of people, these plastic rubber overmold will slide down or slide up. That can be a pain. I try to not do that with mine, but they're very nice, very handy. I have multiple just so that if I can't lay my hands on one, I'm short. Next up is this Klein stripper crimper. This is the 1019, the Klein Curve. This will do the IDC Scotch locks, insulated, non-insulated. It'll do 10 through 26 and 12 through 28 B terminals, and it's got the heavy duty reinforced head. I like it. There's no spring, but they did seem to start putting in a detent, which is interesting. It keeps them closed and open, but it feels a little different. It feels like they're not supposed to be like that until you kind of figure out that's how they're made. I really like this as an all-around pair of strippers. They're super comfortable. They work well as needle nose pliers. Most strippers, will flex. These are reinforced so they don't. I use these nearly every day. I wish the cutting portion opened just a bit wider. It's hard getting them on like Cat 6 cable or some multi-conductor cable that we work with, but you kind of have to do like a multiple chop, or I'm sure everybody's at least used the stripping portions once or twice to cut wire. Yeah, it looks ragged, but man, you go back and trim that up later. And then last is the Ideal FT45 RJ45 crimper. This is the pass-through. This will do Cat 5, E, Cat 6, etc. Regular and pass-through. These work really good. They're very well built. They're small, as you can see. You can slide them right in your pocket. They say this blade is good for up to 2,000 cuts. It even trims off that portion of the plastic that sticks out just a little bit. Makes it hard to plug into some sockets. They've even got the color code written on there. little wire measure there if you want to use that just to hold and go against. I don't mind that these don't have the cutter and stripper portion on there. I usually just use my wire strippers, kind of just gently go around the wire, cut off the core, what have you. Might not be what some people do, but if you're gentle, it works and it doesn't nick the wires. But these work great. This bag that they came with for these two drivers, I keep the two drivers, these Klein curves, and this Weehaw 2.5 millimeter, all in that bag, and that's what I do most of my wire terminations with nowadays. It's a great little kit just to throw in your coat pocket or clip on to your belt that's got this little carabiner, or just keep with you. It's handy. Alright, I'm probably going to cut the video off before I start stuttering, so thank you and have a good day.